I will call to order a transportation committee meeting of April 19th, 2022. Can we have a roll call, please?
Chaplin,
Here.
Desart. Here. Krajewski. Ozak.
Here.
Pachowski.
Here.
Zay.
Here. All right, we have a quorum. There's no chairman's report. Any public comment? All right, may I have a motion to approve the minutes of April 5th, 2022?
Second.
Motion is second. Any changes, alterations, or corrections? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. We're next at item 6 is budget transfer. Motion to budget transfer of $11,000 from building improvements. 1 million.
11 million.
11 million, I'm sorry, 11 million from building improvements to building construction.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Hey, there he is. Let the records reflect that Mr. Krajewski is joining our meeting about 10:02. We are on
I
items.
watched this 10:01. I think
We're
it's
under 6B. If you want to catch up with us. Motion to approve a budget transfer of $275,000
so move.
from capital
Second.
contingency to the land acquisition that was underestimated. Motion is second. Any questions? All in
Yes.
favor? Yes, go ahead.
And just educate me, please, if you would. Land acquisition, was underestimated by $275,000 on this one. Do we work through real estate agents or does government, like a normal, an individual person would, or is there some other process? And are the owners, gouging us because we're a governmental agency?
So,
Because they really can't use this land for anything else.
correct. So this typically is land that is privately held.
Right.
And so we're acquiring it as part of a project. So oftentimes when we do our budget, we're making presumptions of what's going to get done in this year versus next year. So this is a case where we thought we would have acquired the right of way last year. So our budget didn't reflect the additional, so it got carried over. So that's why the number is there. In terms of,
Wait, so by carrying it over, that costs an extra $275,000?
no, it's just money we didn't budget for in this line item because we thought we were going to acquire it last year.
Gotcha.
Turns out the project is slow to go and we just didn't get as far as we got. In terms of compensation, it's always based on fair market value. So we do an appraisal of the property. We hire a negotiator to work with the property owner on settling on fair market value.
And
Thank
if there
you
was
for
a dispute, we go through eminent domain then, right?
Worst case is if we can't reach an understanding, then we will pursue acquisition acquisition through eminent domain.
So last year's budget had a $275,000 surplus.
I wouldn't say a surplus.
Well,
We
it's
just didn't
already
spend
been
it.
earmarked. Who
Yeah.
was the,
Well, if there's money in there, you don't spend it, then
Fred
it becomes a
Backfield would
surplus.
always take it out if we didn't
Yes,
use it, even though it was
exactly.
already earmarked.
So
for
it's the
something.
same money that was in last year's, it was a
Yeah, just-
surplus because it was over what.
Yeah, we just
spent.
didn't
It's
spend it
already
last year.
been accounted for. All right, thank you, great question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is a budget transfer from capital contingency to building construction, $1,500,000 to establish fiscal year
Second.
2022 budget for partial fund share of the new maintenance facility. Motion and a second. Any questions?
What's going in there?
So this is the yellow freight facility that we awarded and the item below. So this is our offsite storage facility. So it's oftentimes used for cold winter storage and warm storage. So we'll put equipment there in the winter that we're not using in the summer and vice versa. We also use it to.
So we're building a facility off-site somewhere?
It exists today.
Right.
We're taking it down and building it there. Yes.
And we got all this property here that we can't seem to, we pay all this money to spend stuff everywhere around the county and rent stuff that we can't put it.
But we don't rent it. We own the property.
Okay.
We own the property in the building.
So that
It
was
is
my
DOT
question.
owned.
That was my question for the next one, 7A, but since they're both together, I'll just ask now. So this is the DuPage Yellow Freight Building in West Chicago. And so I just explained the process to me. Are we knocking a building down and building one up? It sounds like
Yes.
we're not. Oh, we are.
Yes. The existing building
It's being knocked down.
being fully knocked down and a new building being put in its place.
Great. Now I won't have to ask that in
What are you
7A.
doing with the stuff that's in there?
We will temporarily store, we're going to perform the work such that we will, it should be, the stuff that's there will be stored outside. We can store outside for one season. Most of the construction, we're ordering the materials now because of the supply chain. And so we won't actually start construction until next spring because we need that building in the winter when we're doing snow and ice operations here. We have to still use the building to store stuff.
Do we still have the animal service stuff over there or they moved it?
I believe all that has been moved.
So what's the, just the thought process on knocking the building down rather than rehabbing the existing building?
Oh, there is no way to salvage it. I mean, it's
I
four
don't
walls.
know.
It's not,
Oh.
fit
There's
for-
just-
it's not fit for the purpose that we're looking at.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it just
It's
had
a
no
dangerous place for people to
functionality.
go in the winter time because all the leaks and the ice and everything. It was
We had freezing pipes and different things
Yeah,
and
you've never been
you know,
over
at
there,
the
so-
station. So it needed, definitely reached its useful life probably a while ago.
Thank you.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is item 7, purchase requisitions, motion to approve DTP 0136-22, recommendation to approve a contract to Pacific Construction Service LLC for the removal and replacement of an off-site facility for a cost not to exceed $6,861,879 per low bid. Have motion, a second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is a motion to approve 2022-42, recommendation approval contract to Northern
So moved.
Contracting Inc. to furnish and deliver, repair, install
Second.
guardrails as needed for a contract not to exceed $29,900, which is also a lowest responsive bid. I have motion, second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is a motion to approve DTP 0137-22, recommendation to approve a contract with DCR Automated Group LLC,
So
DBA
moved.
Rose Ford, to furnish and deliver Ford motorcraft
Second.
repair and replacement parts as needed for a contract not to exceed $70,000. Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is motion to approve DTP 0138-22, recommendation for approval of contract to Gasparic Alberts Consulting LLC to provide professional construction engineering services to the Division Park Transfer for
So
a
moved.
contract not to exceed $400,000. Motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is a motion to approve DTP 0139-22, recommendation for approval of contract DSI Consultants Limited to provide professional construction engineering services for the 2022 pavement north program for a contract not to exceed $413,980.28. Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor?
No motion, no
Oh, I
second.
didn't have, sorry, I'm
So
sorry.
moved.
Second.
I thought we did do the motion in second.
I did too. Oh, I'm sorry. We have a motion in second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is a motion to approve DTP 0140-22, recommendation for
So moved.
approval of contract to HW Lockwood Inc. to provide professional structural engineering service upon request of the Department of Transportation for a contract not to exceed $350,000. I did hear a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. And finally, motion to approve DTP 0141-22, recommendation for approval of contract
So
to
moved.
Monarch Engineers Limited to
Second.
provide professional construction engineering services 2022 pavement maintenance north program for a contract not to exceed $406,011.54. A motion is second. Any questions?
I just had a
Yeah.
comment that I've said this before, but I think it's worth saying again that, I think it's so exciting that, public safety is safe roads and bridges. And we've just approved, or we're about to approve $1.569 million in engineering projects. And I think that's really exciting for the residents and the visitors to DuPage County.
Yes,
That's it. Thank you.
We're doing a lot of projects with the
Yes.
money that we're receiving.
Yeah.
Gas tax, and it's very evident from everybody that these projects wouldn't be built but for that increase. So, okay. That, I think everybody took a,
All in favor?
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, next is awarding resolution, motion to a DTR 0190-22.
So moved.
Awarding resolution, Martin Construction Inc.
Second.
for 2022 retaining wall repair program for an estimated cost of $144,104. I have motion is second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is a grant proposal notification. Move to place on file grant proposal notification GPN 025-22.
Second.
Gbo, Illinois. It's Illinois 38 over Illinois 53 bridge improvements. And it's a contract of $100,000. A motion is second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that passes. Now we go 10 and we're going to our bridge weight.
Yeah, Chairman Pachalski and I had a discussion a week or so ago. I wanted to bring to everybody's attention. We've got 3 bridges that have recently been load rated by the state of Illinois, and they decreased the allowable weight limits to cross the bridge. And so that's going to have an impact on DOT operations, particularly snow and ice, going into this winter. So I wanted to identify the 3 locations, so you're aware where they're at, in case you hear from your constituents, your municipalities with concerns. And so briefly, I noticed the first thing I did was I completely mislabeled these. So location 1 on the map is actually location 2. And so location 2 is actually location 1. I apologize. So location 2, well, I'm sorry, Geneva Road, right out here, Geneva Road, just west of County Farm, west of Winfield Road. That was reduced from, so normal weight of a vehicle is 40 tons, 80,000 pounds. That's the legal weight of a truck. It's been reduced to 12 tons. So that we can't even take some of our maintenance equipment across that bridge. It does have an adverse impact on emergency responders, especially fire trucks and even school buses. Just to let you know, we do have this project in active engineering. We did secure federal funds. Similar to the one we're going to talk about in a little bit, Warrenville Road. It's been under study for quite some time. It's my recommendation that we are working with a consultant right now to, even though we're in preliminary engineering, to accelerate design engineering immediately, bring a contract forward, and hopefully be in a position to build this project next year at a minimum half the bridge. So going into the next winter, we won't have any issues. This winter, we can't take our plow trucks even empty across the
Use a
bridge.
pickup truck to,
So we're doing 2 things. We are retrofitting our pickup trucks with just some plows. It's very difficult to plow a 4-lane road using that method. We also have reached out to Winfield Township. Turns out they have a vehicle that may be more advantageous to us to enter into an agreement that will pay them to plow Geneva Road for this winter. So we have to work out what the cost is for the retrofit of our plows and the weight of their vehicle, and they might have to only go across it maybe half loaded instead of fully loaded. But they have smaller vehicles than us because they traditionally do residential streets, cul-de-sacs, compared to our trucks. So that's that location.
Can I
So
just ask a quick question? So the cost to fix this is $4 million.
it's a complete replacement, brand new.
Completely replacement, $4 million, and the federal government pays 80%, which is $3,200,000. And then so our obligation would be $800,000.
For construction.
Could that be shared with the municipality at all?
No.
It's totally county.
It's a county highway, it's our responsibility. So, and we're certainly prepared to fund that. It's been in our program for several years. It's just this recent load rating by the state kind of accelerated the
Yeah.
need to get out there much sooner than later.
So when is this project scheduled to start?
So our hope is that we will be in a position, because we're just starting design, we need to work with the Forest Preserve to secure license agreements for the property we need. It's surrounded completely by Forest Preserve.
Could
Our
they
hope,
help pay for this? No.
what's that?
I'm just asking.
We'll work with them on the acquisition of the land, and maybe we can
Okay.
partner with them on the.
So when
the
is
purchase
this
of the farm.
scheduled to start?
So the best case scenario is to put this on the street probably next January or March, and hopefully get half of it built next year. But that's a lot of work to do in a short amount of time. This posting just came to our attention literally a couple weeks ago.
And how long does it take to replace a bridge?
Typically, a bridge can be done in one construction season
Oh.
if everything goes well, but depending on how quickly we can move this along and whether we hit the January, if you're not on the street by March, then you're not going to build it the following year. It takes too long to procure the materials and stuff like that. So our goal would be
It's rather
January, March.
aggressive
For
schedule.
now, to get something on the street and let and awarded, because it's federal, it has to go through the state of Illinois, so it's another level of oversight in the process.
Okay, Liz?
Thank you. Just a question. So when we get these notices and it talks about the tons that are, allowed or not allowed, do we put any signage on there that says like trucks not over so much are not allowed, or because how do other
Yeah.
vehicles know that they should be driving on it?
So when we got the notes from the state, the next day or two, we make our own signs. It was posted.
Oh,
We
great.
also, for Geneva Road, because it's 12 tons and that is pretty low, we also put dynamic message signs flashing, basically saying, ahead 12-ton weight limit. So they can turn down County Farm or Winfield or Route 59.
Great.
And they get-
I figured you guys did something, but I just wanted to ask.
Jim and then Mary.
Yeah, Chris, this is it's a major problem. It's a major road with a hospital right there.
Yep.
With emergency vehicles and, it's gonna be, how's this gonna affect us on our other roads? Because obviously now they're gonna be coming down County Farm, shooting up to Roosevelt. I mean, it's gonna be,
Yeah, it's just the loaded vehicles, regular passenger cars, this is not.
no, I'm talking about trucks. I mean,
So the other thing, correct, there is going to be a diversion of vehicles onto either Winfield or County Farm Road. So Winfield is municipal, County Farm is ours to get across. The logical way around it would be Prince Crossing, High Lake. It's not really out of direction travel. I mean, it is, but we understand. And And we've let the state of Illinois know.
Which aren't really designed for truck traffic either.
What's that?
They're really not designed for truck traffic either.
Correct.
Right.
They're not the most ideal.
Did they give us engineering on this to show why they did it?
Well, it's unfortunately, it's why they lowered it.
Yeah.
So the design of the bridge, this was a design that was really popular in the 70s and 80s, the design of it. The problem with this type of bridge is when they begin to fail, they fail quickly. So it's not traditional like steel beam or concrete beam.
Different design.
So we are definitely doing a different design. It'll be raised several feet because of the design. And we asked the state of Illinois and our engineers, what's the retrofit? What can we do now to say, can we put a truck only on the inside lane in this direction, the outside lane, that direction? We ran several models of the individual lanes and the truck configurations, and there isn't a retrofit for a project like this that wouldn't actually be more destructive and cause more damage. So the goal is to accelerate the design as quickly as possible and get something on the street.
We gotta take everything out of the river, everything's gotta be replaced, all the planks, everything.
Yeah, there's no salvaging the existing bridge.
Mary?
So this means you cut it in, they would cut it in half from 24,000 to 12,000.
I think what it was, so it was 12 tons is 24,000 pounds.
Oh, I'm sorry,
So I think it was posted. I
What
thought
was
it
it?
was at 20.
20, okay. My other question, you said something about land acquisition with the Forest Reserve. What
So
would
the-
you anticipate?
So the area
to use it as a construction site?
So because we have to raise the road several feet, because we're going from a deck that's this thick to something that's this
Okay.
thick, it's the design of the bridge with steel beams. We're raising it some 3.5 or 5 feet. So when you get away from the bridge, the roadway actually has to go up and over, which means we have to grade. And on each side of this is completely surrounded by forest preserve
Right.
holdings. So we already had some early communication with them on what we think we need for the project. So we'll be revisiting that discussion soon now in light of the posting and the need to accelerate.
But you're not widening from the current configuration.
The
it's
current
just-
configuration, what we are going to provide for is accommodations to not preclude a future bike path on one side and or sidewalk on another. When you
Oh, okay.
replace a bridge, you don't put it back exactly as is. You think toward the future. And so we'll make those accommodations. So the bridge will be a little bit wider and the roadway will be a little bit wider, but it's not going from like 2 to 4 lanes or 4 to 6.
Right, so it would just be incremental and not a big acquisition. issue.
Multi-mode, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have other bridges with this design that this? kind of
Yes,
issue?
well, yeah, let's keep
Let's
going.
carry on.
So that's
Sorry, I gotta go.
That's the Geneva Road
Jim.
over the West
Is that
Branch.
number 3?
So that was labeled location 2 on the map, and again, I found now location. So now let's look at Warrenville Road over the East Branch of the DuPage River. This is in Lyle. This is on the exhibit labeled location 1. And again, I apologize for location 2.
This is Warrenville.
So this is Warrenville Road over the East Branch. Member Chaplin and I sat in a meeting 4 years ago with the new mayor, and we talked about accommodations. And at that point, we had to take a step back and make some changes to the bridge to allow a future bike path underneath. So we are out of phase 1 engineering. We're in design engineering as we speak right now. So this project hopefully is on a good schedule to be under construction next year. Similarly, it does have a posted weight limit. This one is 17 tons. So it's got a little more flexibility, 34,000 pounds when it comes to school buses and fire engines, depending on what apparatus they have. It does have a little bit more flexibility. But again, we are dealing with the Morton Arboretum, in this case, the tollway in terms of acquisition and private property owners. So it is in design. It is another one of those bridges, what we call the deck beam design. This one is in a much better position since design engineering is already underway to hopefully be in a position to let the project late this fall, early next winter, and then actually be under construction in calendar year 2023. Similarly, we are working with Lyle on an arrangement for us to pay them to maintain or plow this section of Warrenville Road for this winter.
Thank you. Just to follow up on that, so I think you just answered my question, but you have been in contact with Lyle and they're aware of where we're at on this project.
Yep.
Great, thank you so much. You guys are like my best
rock
friends, my
stars.
rock stars. I know. You guys really come through.
What was the location number 1, which is labeled 2? What town is that? Is that where is that? What town is that?
Oh, that's in Winfield.
Winfield,
The
thank
one
you.
we talked about first was in Winfield.
Yeah, this is Lyle, gotcha.
And this is in Lyle. So now location 3, which is actually properly labeled as location 3, is the,
Just wanted to test our geography.
I know,
skills.
Bloomingdale Road over the CN Railroad. This is in Glendale Heights. This has a posting of 20 tons. It has nothing to do with the deck design. It's actually the pier caps. So what the beams sit on, basically. So this was just recently lowered, so we actually have been working with a consultant. This was not in our program for any repairs in the immediate future. With this reduction in the posting, we are talking to a consultant and to see if we can do what we'll call an interim retrofit to strengthen the pier cap to allow our snow and ice vehicles as well as police and fire to go over the bridge this year. So we may be bringing something
Is
forward.
that a case on you're adding? Is that? a case?
Well, I think it's just shoring up the top, the evidently the pier cap, the design of it may not have been designed properly.
But it's a temporary fit for us.
Well,
to do it. So
yes,
is it a permanent fit and we'll see how it goes? Is that what?
Well, it may be an interim that goes for a long time. If it could buy us several years. Ultimately, we probably need to do a lot more, but given the fact that we're over the railroad, it's going to be a lot to just get out there, inspect, get access to the property, then to be able to perform the repairs. We do think if we start immediately, so you just approved the contract with a consultant for structural engineering, we'll get them going immediately following board approval and see if they can't put a schedule together, get us on something on the street for an interim retrofit late summer and have it done before the winter.
This year.
Yes, that would be the
And
goal.
obviously no railroad involvement in terms of any kind of funding
Correct.
say it.
They just give us access, right? I mean.
And that, yes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then they,
It's called cooperation.
it is. So we will be working with them to get access to be able to inspect it. And then obviously the contractor will need access to perform the repairs.
Chris, a couple of weeks ago or a month ago, we approved a bunch of bridge
Years.
engineers, inspectors was the word I was looking for. Are these the manifestations of their work?
No, these two of the three we mentioned, the first two were already under design.
Okay.
We recognize these 2, 3 in the case of Warrenville
Phase one
several years
engineering's
ago.
already done.
Yeah, we knew these were in our program already. It's just now with the most recent load rating by the state of Illinois, because of the type of bridge, they had to lower the one Geneva. And now instead of going step 1, step 2, step 3, we're going to run step 2 concurrent with step 1
Oh, gotcha.
to not jeopardize the federal funding.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman Chowski. So, I really appreciate this discussion. It's an important discussion. I have, anxiety when we're sitting under a bridge, stop for too long, or, so this is gonna give me nightmares, but that's okay. But I just really hope, we really make that Geneva Road is gonna be a priority. Do you think we'll get that one done first? Because with its proximity to the hospital, I think that one really needs to get.
They have independent utility,
Mhm.
Warrenville Road or Geneva, both are on a fast track.
Okay.
And again, instead of waiting normally from phase 1 to get done, then move to phase 2, we're going to accelerate that phase 2 and we'll fund all the engineering 100% county. It would be eligible for federal funds normally, but you can't start step 2 until step 1 is approved according to federal guidance. So we will risk manage phase 2. We're thinking $500,000. It's just easier for us to do it and get it done. It's life safety and time is of the essence. So
Great work, guys.
So I just want to make sure that I have the information right. Location number 1, Winfield, is scheduled to start in January or March 2023. Lyle is scheduled to be completed in calendar year 2023. And Glendale Heights is scheduled to be done in autumn of this year.
as we sit here today, that's what we're targeting.
Okay.
Plan readiness, land acquisition, railroad access, those are all going to affect our ability to move forward. So
And when I say that location 1 starts in January or March of 2023, that it'll be done within that construction year.
right, so starting in January, what that is, that's when the bids are open.
Okay.
You open bids, you got to execute the contract, you have a pre-construction meeting, it issues you 45 to 60 days before the actual work starts. So that's why in a March letting, you don't start till June. By that time, the construction season's halfway over. So
And
our
the
goal
last
is that,
one- I'm sorry, the last one is you're gonna try to talk about a retrofit.
yeah, we'll probably, if we have a definite retrofit, that's not something in our program, we would bring this forward to the group. I don't know, necessarily think it's an emergency procurement, but it'll be a procurement that we'll look at compared to other things in our program. If we have to slide something in favor of this, we will.
And that's indefinite depending on how it lasts.
It's correct. They may say, no, this is interim, but it's good for 10 years.
Is that checked every year then? Is there how they do it?
We inspect, so we can get back to the bridge inspections. We inspect our bridges depending on the bridge and its condition every 4 years. It might go to every 2 years. or every 1 year, depending on its
Yeah, I would
severity.
think that the
So the load ratings,
the
they'll-
quality of the bridge would mandate whether we see it. So, but this one we reviewed every year, I would assume, yes or no?
well, now that it is loaded, we do increase the frequency of those, and we know the, what the retrofit will be, and then hopefully we'll get that in place, and then from that point on, let's make determination whether there's a more permanent fix, perhaps a complete deck replacement, bridge replacement at a future date.
I don't know. I really like when we have discussions. It takes 10 or 15 minutes, but it's nice to know what's going on, why it's being done.
Right.
Everybody asks questions. So I would encourage if we have this, I thought today was great. It's just a little bit of knowledge rather than bringing presented to us. So I don't know about the rest, but it seems like discussions are popular with the committee.
Yeah, and I think it informs all of you, and
I-
again,
I-
we may see some agreements coming forward for for snow plowing assistance with either Winfield Township and or Lyle. And we'll keep you apprised of those and we'll bring those forward.
All right, thank you. I appreciate this discussion.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yeah, absolutely.
Anybody else have anything else? Okay, that's it. Thank you for the discussion. Any report from our state's attorney? Any old business? Sir, how about new business?
I do have something
Is it old or new?
new.
Okay, that's
I
what
was just over at Health and Human Services, and there was a letter from a constituent about trash between, I believe, Bloomingdale and Schmalley on St. Charles Road. And I asked them to forward it to transportation. So,
Okay,
Did be us?
St. Charles, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
so,
Yeah, usually we do just begin to dispatch crews this time of year before we do our first mowing cycle. First thing we want to do is clean up the right of way so that we're not taking one piece of something and turn it into 1,000.
yeah, the letter
So-
referred to it looking like a landfill. So, that
Well,
seemed-
we'll go-
Something.
That seemed a bit extreme to me.
Yes, I think so too. Liz?
And just, you'll be happy to know that the
But it gets
neighbors
attention.
over there in Downers Grove with the no truck sign, they're very pleased with that
Oh, good.
sign. So they were very happy about that.
Great
So,
partnership with Downers Grove.
yeah, so thank you very much.
Good.
Any,
Go on.
any update on Monarch Landing?
You know, no.
Traffic signal?
I think, I actually drove through there yesterday, I was on Ferry Road, and it dawned on me, our traffic engineer, Bill, was out for the week, a long weekend. So my recollection is there is a warranted signal there with the ultimate development, but it resides with, I think, the city's, I think it's in the city's court, city neighborhood's court. So let me get an update from Bill.
I appreciate that.
and we'll go from there.
Traffic Study or something there?
Well, I think we had talked about doing it, then he said it's already been done, it's already,
Oh.
the study's been done, and I
Okay.
do believe it's a warranted location, so I don't wanna overpromise and underdeliver,
Yeah.
as they say, so let me talk to Bill, and perhaps yeah, we can just shoot out an email to the group, certainly to yourself, Don.
Oh, just whatever.
Okay, yeah, yep.
All right.
What?
Good
Overpromise,
meeting.
underdeliver?
Without objection, we stand adjourned. Thank you, guys.